Welcome to Shelaborate. I'm Kath.
And I'm Kyra. This is our podcast for the girls, from the girls.
We're telling our stories, hyping up women who inspire us, and shelaborating every step of the way.
It's time to give you the girl talk you've been waiting for. Let's get into it.
Hi, Shelaborators. Welcome to our first episode.
Congratulations on our first recording day.
First recording day. Didn't think we'd make it. Had a lot of planning, a lot of talking about it for probably months.
Yeah, I would say even years.
Probably years.
We literally said years ago we need to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And then every time we get together with our girl gang, we say, we should be recording a podcast right now. And we finally are.
And here we are. And what are we going to talk about today?
We wanted to kick off our first episode by talking a little bit about our girl gang and just the importance of friendship, especially in adulthood.
I guess we should start. I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Kyra.
And we, our little girl gang, we're in North Carolina. We met probably like 4 or 5 years ago and have kind of just been inseparable ever since. We're like separated for the most part. It's just us now.
I know, yeah. We're the only two left at the original location. But we all started out here.
And I think the stories that we have behind our friendship and like where we've gotten to today, I think mirror a lot of what a lot of women deal with and kind of see as adults. I found that it's really hard to make like adult friendships.
Yeah.
And like meaningful ones at that. So
I think so too. And I also think that our friendships have kind of like this point transcended, geographic location or activities that we like to do together. These are now lifelong friendships. And I even think that they're trending more towards family than friendships because you guys are people I know I could call at any time, at any point. And I think it's important to share that and kind of share how we found that, because I think that for people who don't currently have this, it's definitely achievable, and it's not in like a way that I probably would have found it without some of the other girls in our group.
Yeah, and I think the story of you and Columbine, our friends, is a perfect summary of how we maybe didn't think it was gonna turn into what it did.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you want to tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, just to give a little bit of background, I originally met our one friend Poppy in a military course. Something kind of interesting and unique about our friend group is that we all started out in the military. Not all of us are currently in the military or planning to stay, but we all started out and met when we were all in the military. And our friend Poppy and I, we were in a course together. And this was the first time I've ever worked with another woman as a peer. It was definitely an eye-opening experience because I don't think I truly really knew what it was like to have a peer that I could also be really, really close friends with from work, because I had only been around men.
Do you ever feel like there was a competitive aura between you two?
When we first started class, I just don't think I knew really what to do with her being in class with me. I didn't know if I should interact or not interact. And there's also like a heavy stigma in the military of when you're a woman, you need to show up. And especially in the venue that we were in. And so I think I was kind of feeling her out, and I didn't want to seem like, oh, I only hang out with girls. I think I distanced myself in a way.
You can't win. Like,
exactly.
You don't want to be seen as someone that's like not a girl's girl, but you also, I found that you need to have those people to rely on, and people that have been through similar experiences.
Exactly, yeah. So our friend Poppy, she invited me out to go to lunch, and just for context, in our class, there was approximately 300 other students. Out of all of those students, I think that there was 6 or 7 women, and that was in the class at large. In our small group, it was just me and Poppy. We're the only 2 females. And so she invites me out to lunch. there had been a girls group chat that was created with all of the girls in the class, and they had done activities, but I again kind of distanced myself because I'd never worked with women. I don't think I really truly understood the importance. I can be friends with the guys, I could be friends with the women, but I'll just be friends with the people who are sitting right next to me.
You.
Yeah, so she invited me to lunch, and I don't want to say in love, but I was in love with her. I had a huge girl crush. She is competent and smart and capable and fierce, and she has a cool style, and holy smokes, I want to be friends with her. But I was also like, I don't know how to be friends with her.
How does one do friends?
We were slowly becoming friends, and then it really became in class. We were this unstoppable force. I felt like I was sled dog, just like pulling the class along, really like a workhorse, and for any tasks that we had to do. And then she would just come and like kind of, in a way, like protect me.
She was like the protector.
Yeah, and we just became such good friends in our class. Then bring in our other friend Columbine. So she was in the same class, but in a different small group section.
So you weren't with her day to day?
No, actually we had really minimal classes with the whole group. So I would see her, but I didn't know her or really interact. We had...
Oh yeah. Side note. I'm an average height, right? I'm 5'5". I'm like pretty tall for a girl, I think. At least average. But me and Poppy were both like 5'5", and the rest of the gang is like basically 6 foot. So anytime that we take pictures with them, it's like taking pictures with a WNBA. We look super short. But all that to say, you guys are super tall.
We are tall, yeah.
Like out of... not the norm. You don't see a lot of like super tall females like you.
Yeah, and it's interesting that our friend group is mostly
tall.
And we're all about the same height, almost 6 feet tall.
Pretty
and
much.
So I love wearing heels, and I'll wear tall heels, I'll wear little kitten heels, I'll wear any type of heel. I love a heel. And so I mentioned this at an event where Columbine also was, and she turned around and she said, "I would never." And in that moment, I just thought, okay, well, maybe I should never also. And she was kind of referring to, oh, well, I'm tall, I shouldn't wear heels. And so I was like, we are not the same. We are not going to be friends. In a sense, wrote her off because I didn't really know what to do with that information. Well, we don't like the same things. Guess we're not friends.
Yeah, this will never work.
This will never work, yeah. And which is funny now because out of our friend group, she and I are probably the most... Probably
the
most similar, yes. But Poppy then arranged this get together for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Poppy and I were roommates when we used to live in Hawaii, and then we both moved to North Carolina. We were still roommates, so that's the connection there. And then I think there was some drag show in Raleigh. We love getting dressed up, and we love meeting new people. So I think I had hung out with Columbine before, but I don't know if I had hung out with you.
No, I don't think so.
So that was the first time that we were kind of getting the gang together.
I had just moved from Texas and had started this course. I knew a few people in my class, a few other guys who I had worked with previously, but wasn't... I don't really think that when you're a woman in the military, you can have super, super, super close guy friends. Not the same way we can have bonds like our girl gang, just because you have to maintain boundaries.
I think we could do a whole nother episode. Probably.
Yeah, honestly. I knew virtually no one.
Right.
So I basically didn't have a friend group when I moved here.
You're like, I was pretty lonely.
Yeah, honestly.
I was.
Yeah, I was honestly pretty lonely. I didn't know anyone. I just moved here. I knew Poppy, and I was like, okay, I guess Poppy and I are going to become friends.
That's all I'm going to hang out with.
Yeah, so give us some background on where you were at.
I think that in my life in general, I've been very lucky in terms of the friends that I've had and the friendships. High school had a really good group of swimmer girlfriends, college, sorority sisters who were my friends, who we're still all friends to this day. We still meet. But I think where I really found the most challenges was when I got into the workforce, joined the military. Just naturally, we weren't around as many females, and it was just a lot harder to make female friends and then like have groups of friends that were females and that were doing kind of the same things that we were. So I had moved to North Carolina in 2020, had a friend group, and then just got out of a really rough relationship, rough breakup. and kind of lost all of my friends in that. I still have, one-offs, friendships there, but I was particularly lonely. I didn't have a lot of people to hang out with. I had always had Malia, but we were kind of just like maybe doing our separate things. And so I see the girl gang for me, our friends, as being kind of thing that happened to me in North Carolina that like really turned around my view of this place and view of friendships and just how important it is to have people that you care about and root for you. I've ever truly been surrounded by people that will root for you no matter what.
One thing that one of our other friends said to me once was, it's really hard for me to hear all the people who are hating on me because you guys are just cheering so loud all the time. Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna get haters. But I don't care because I've like found the people who really care about me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we were friendship wise. And Poppy arranges this little drag show.
Yeah.
This was the first drag show I've ever been to.
That was actually, I don't know, I guess me and Poppy just go to a lot of drag shows. I think we had been.
She likes them.
Yeah, I think we had one in like, where were we? Tennessee maybe? I don't know.
But yeah, so it was up in Raleigh. We were going to make a day of it.
Whole day.
And so I got all dressed up. I met up with Poppy and we drove up there. You met us up there, right?
Yes.
And then bringing me back to Columbine. So she was going to meet us up there.
But she wasn't at the drag show.
No, she wasn't there. And I was like the whole drag show. Guys, she does not like me. This is not going to be fun. I might have to leave. She really doesn't like me. Like, that's the extent that I thought she didn't like me.
And me and Poppy were like, I think you're fine.
Yeah. Also, side note to this just should tell you how my level of maturity. Looking back now, I'm like, what am I, in 5th grade?
Was I?
Like, seriously, like, was I in 5th grade? Because two adults who don't like each other should be able to be in the same room cordially. Yeah. And I was just like, I might have to leave. Like, holy smokes.
It is stirred in my memory.
I think I had like a lot of anxiety because I didn't want people to not have a good time. Yeah. I also really, really, really wanted a group of friends. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I realized that I wanted it so bad, but I was like, oh no, if Columbine shows up and she really hits it off with Poppy and you, then I might just be like kind of the one that's left out, which I had felt a lot when I was stationed in Texas because I was the only female. Yeah. I didn't have those connections and I did get left out a lot just inherently because I don't want to do some of the things that the guys want to do all the time.
I don't want to golf.
Yeah, it's just not it's not my thing. Columbine shows up and right away, first off, she's wearing heels. She was wearing little kitten heels, very, very cute ones, might I add. She's wearing heels. She said she doesn't want to wear heels. That's why I thought we weren't going to be friends. And right away, it's like we hit it off immediately. Mm-hmm. And you guys are like, what was wrong with you? Yeah. And so we go out. We have an incredible time in Raleigh. Yeah. It was just the 4 of us. We danced, I think.
A lot of that night.
My feet were killing me. That's why I shouldn't have wore heels. My feet were killing me. We danced so much. And that was really the genesis of the first time a lot of us hung out.
Yeah, like the first girl gang hangout. Mm-hmm. That was kind of like solidified that we were going to be a thing.
We were going to be a thing. There was no way after that night we couldn't hang out again.
Yeah.
And then after that, we planned a trip to go down to Savannah.
Yes.
And this is, I think, what really just made our bond so strong. It was St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Yes. We got an Airbnb. Poppy and we had done St. Patty's in Savannah before. And so like months prior to, we're like, should we get an Airbnb? Should we just buy it and like see what's going to go on? And it worked out very well. First girl trip.
Yeah. And this was the genesis of our friend group always says, New Mems.
Was that New Mems?
That was New Mems. So just a little bit of background. We've all been on trips or gone places or done activities with exes. I'm sure you guys have too, where you go, it's supposed to be a really fun place or a really cool place, and you go there and it's with an ex, and so your memory of that fun, cool place
is tainted.
Yes, it's with someone that you don't want it to be with. Yeah. And in your memory, it's just not good anymore.
And you're like, wow, I love this place, but I have such a like bad or painful or like not good memory of this person, and now it kind of ruins this whole scene.
Exactly. So St. Patrick's Day in Savannah was that for me. I had only ever been there with an ex. It was right after I had shaved my head for another Army school. I was bald. I was ugly. I'll admit it. I was with an ex who basically abandoned me there. So when we went on that trip, it was total New Mems. And now every time I think of Savannah or St. Patrick's Day, I'm like, that was the best girls trip in the history of girl trips. Yeah. We've had some fun ones since, but that one's doing down in history.
That one will go down in history. I truly did forget that was our New Mems.
And that's where we met Lilac for the first time. She was incredible, and
yeah, I think Poppy's kind of like the glue of our group. She had known people through the Army schools, and they had, I think, been in the same class together for her basically job school. And I think they played rugby together. I think she probably just brought her along to like one of these trips. And I think one of my favorite things about our group in general and like the people that we are is that we always just try and bring more people into our gang. So that's kind of like the attitude that we have. So like it's no surprise that
that's exactly what happened with Zinnia when Columbine got out of the military. Yeah. And then moved up to Virginia Beach, and she had known Zinnia from college. And she was like, hey guys, I'm having my DD214 party, and my friend is going to be there. She's really cool. I think we should bring her into the girl gang. And I think even before we actually met her, we were like all fangirling over her. Yes, immediate yes, as soon as we met her. And that's kind of the down and dirty, some parts very long, of our girl gang genesis.
Yeah, and then of course in the middle, a lot of New Mems trips, a lot of like changes in life, events, and as we had talked about, we're not all co-located, we're not all in the same spot, but we are all still the girl gang.
Yeah, and now there's 6 of us, but there could be more. And
this is officially our pitch
to you. Join our girl gang. We want to Shelaborate with you. But in all seriousness, I think it's important to kind of talk about why our girl gang works, how these friendships work, how they developed, because maybe like naive sense of like how to make friends in adulthood or what friendship should be. They always to me were like, okay, they have to be people who are common activities as you, things that people who do the same things as you. I don't know, join a soccer club or something and make friends there and like go to soccer club with each other. And people who are basically just like you. And I don't think any of our friends are super, super similar. In fact, I think we're all extremely different personalities, all living really different lives, especially now when I think our friendship is just as strong as it's ever been. Yeah. We're even geographically separated by quite a bit. And I don't think it impacts our friendship really at all.
I think if we ever got together, it would be like no time had passed.
Exactly,
we all get together. But I think it's interesting because once you transition from your college time to like your work life, especially being in the military where you're not surrounded by a lot of females, you can't really default to the people that you're around every day. Yeah. And so I found it a lot more difficult because I wasn't working with a lot of females. And so you do have to like work a little bit harder to find people that you connect with. But it took me a long time in the Army to find those people. It took me till I got to like North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't think I've always had like friends, but it always felt like I was the friend kind of on the outside of other friend groups.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone had this very close-knit group with all of these memories and experiences, and then I was just kind of like always there when they wanted to have a big party.
How do I get in?
Exactly. I always felt like, how do I get in? Until Poppy started being like, oh, this is how you get in. Just come and join.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're someone right now who is, I want that. Like, I want a girl gang. I need a girl gang because to be honest, I needed that in my life. I don't think I realized, if you're like sitting there and you're like, I don't really need that. I'm introverted. I don't care. You 1,000,000%. You need it in your life because you need that support system of women who are just gonna be there for you.
Cheer for you.
And if you're someone who's like, I can be friends with guys, it is not the same as having a girl gang. And I think like Poppy set like the best example ever. She was like, I want this, I'm gonna make it. And even if you're someone who's a little bit more introverted or not that person who's like, oh, I'm gonna, go out and meet friends, she just took the girls who were around her and were like, hey, come out with me. Like,
together.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm planning this event. Why don't you join? And even she does that now. Think about our friend that kind of we started hanging out with right before Poppy left, literally moved to another state, left us here. But right before that, she was like, hey, I'm working with this really, really cool girl. I'm going to bring her around. And we were like, oh my gosh, awesome. And now we're hanging out with her and Poppy's not even here. Yeah. So I feel like it's go out and create events, invite people, be the person who is going out on a limb. Because if I think back, I never really did that. I never tried to create a group.
It was hard for me to like make the effort to like text people and hang out. I'm like, well, I just want them to text me.
And then I think the other thing is people who you might think with our story with Columbine, people who you think might not be, exactly like you, or you might not have a lot in common with them. I mean, our friend Lilac, I don't think I have. Maybe I do have some. We like DIY projects, but like
you could find something, but like on the surface.
Yeah, we're very, very different people, and I talk to her all the time. She's someone I'm like, I can't imagine my life without, but she's very different than me, and I probably wouldn't have tried to pursue a friendship with her as fiercely as now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to have that in my life.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are two lessons to take away from this.
Yeah, I think that just having those relationships and because I have sisters and those relationships are super important ones in my life. And I think part of the reason ours is so special is because we have been through a lot of similar things, all coming from the military. So we can have some of those conversations and have some of those stories that we like really understand each other and like can really, but then at the same time, our lives don't revolve around that aspect of our lives. We are super multifaceted. We do have other interests and we support each other in all of those. So I've just always enjoyed that. I love going the bars or whatever, and we just try and find other girls to like come hang out with us.
Poppy, I think she is the true and original gal's gal, and she really, I think, taught me don't be a queen bee, which if you don't know what that is, that's a woman who's just thinks that she kind of has to gatekeep things because she's the only one and she can only be the only one, that
like her success,
kind of a mean girl tries to put other women down.
That's going to make her successful.
Exactly. Don't be a queen bee, and be open to letting other people join. Like this isn't an exclusive club. And in fact, the less exclusive it is, the better it is, because everyone just feels good and there's no pressure.
No.
And there's no drama if it's like, hey, I want to bring my other friend who I met at this cool event, or oh, I know this person from skydiving or whatever. Yeah. We're just like, okay, cool, like let's meet them wholeheartedly. Not, oh, who's she?
Is she cool?
Because that type of attitude, it's 2025.
It's toxic, and it's
extremely
people that you want to be around.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, you're like, well, are they feeling that way about me?
I wish that in middle school girls would learn this because
Yeah.
I feel if I had been around other girl groups who were like, you know what? You're a girl, you need friends, let's be friends. Because our group has just continued to grow and grow and grow. And I feel like all of us have the same story. If we called Columbine right now and we're like, hey, what was it like when you were kind of joining the girl gang? She would be like, yeah, I basically had no friends. I felt super alone. And I'm so glad that I found you guys. And that I feel like that's not a new story. I feel like
That's
a lot of
everyone
women
can
feel
relate
like
to.
that. And so if you do have a little group of friends, be open. Don't cut people out. Don't be unwilling to allow people into your group because maybe they don't have the same experience or they don't like to do the same things that you do. See what they have, see what they have to offer.
I assume that like most of us have been through that kind of like lonely stretch, like needing friends, needing support system. I will say, I think one of the best compliments that you can bestow on someone is calling them a girl's girl.
Oh, 100%.
I think that, like, if you're a girl's girl, that is just the highest praise that I can give you. And that's what I think all of you should aspire to be.
Girls.
Girl.
Yes. And not only a girl's girl who is for the girls.
For the girls.
Which, I can't believe we haven't told this story yet. So...
It's kind of similar to the podcast story, don't you think? It's something that we had been talking about.
Yes.
For months.
And months. And
we did it.
We always say for the girls. We say a few things. We always say girls girl. We always say for the girls. And we always say new mems.
New mems, yeah.
And for the girls is something that we always say, when we're hanging out somewhere or we meet another girl and we're like, this girl is for the girls. And that's like kind of how
what's up.
Yes, she's not a queen bee. She's not someone who's gonna, be mean or backstab you or anything. No drama. And we're just like, she is for the girls. And that's kind of our girl code way of saying like she's in the group. And I also feel like it feels really good when someone is like, oh, she's for the girls, And so that's like our girl gang way of saying like,
that's code.
It's for you're in. And so for months we kept saying we need to get a tattoo. We all want a tattoo. Maybe
love tattoos.
Maybe we are an actual gang. We're a girl gang. Now we have a tattoo.
I mean, all the signs are there.
Next we need little biker jackets.
Which we have talked about as well.
We have also talked about biker jackets. We can make it happen. For months we really, really wanted to get a tattoo. I said, okay, I will draw up a tattoo, which I think I have the least tattoos in our whole friend group.
That's true.
That is true. Well,
Lilac didn't have her sleeve.
Okay, but now I'm for sure the friend who has the least tattoos. So I said, okay, I'll draw it up. And we all drove up to Virginia Beach. And we wasn't planned.
It was not planned. We went to Virginia Beach. I think wasn't it on a whim or was it to go see?
It was to go see Columbine. I don't remember.
I forget what the purpose was.
I don't know.
I remember we showed up and Zinnia was like, guys, let's get tattoos this weekend. And we're all like, yeah, okay.
And
let's do it.
And that night on my iPad, I drew up a design. We knew it had to say for the girls, but I really wanted to highlight the differences. So I drew a different flower for each of the girls in our friendship.
Which if you haven't picked up yet.
Those are the names. Yeah, those are the names that we're currently using.
Our friend's name isn't Poppy.
No, it should be. It could be.
It could be.
So for one of the flowers in our tattoo, it's a poppy. We have a columbine. Again, not our friend's name. A lilac, a zinnia. I'm a peony, and
I'm a dahlia.
We put all of these flowers together in a design, and it just makes like a beautiful bouquet. And that's because like all of us are unique and different in our own ways, but we bring it together as like just this incredible friend group. And ever since then, basically anytime we see someone or meet someone who's for the girls, we're all like, look at our tattoos! We're for the girls!
Here's the PDF. We're going to send it to you
yes.
so you can also get this
I
tattoo.
have sent this PDF of that tattoo to...
I mean, we probably sent it to 20 people that night.
At least.
Yeah.
Have any of them got that tattoo? I don't know. If you have got that tattoo,
let us know.
let us know and send us a message because we'd like to meet you again.
The odds that anyone has, but
if you have, that would be incredible. If you want to get it now because you're still for the girls,
we can add you to the bouquet.
Yes, I encourage everyone, if you get this tattoo, add another flower to the bouquet because like add your own flower of like what you want to be. We're for the girls. I hope
we want girls that are for the girls, and that's kind of like the epitome of I think our friendship, and honestly like doing things on a whim.
Absolutely.
I think is also kind of the more of the story.
The other thing is, go for it. If a group of girls, even one girl, or be that girl, invite people to go do things and just go do it. There's been so many trips where with our girl group where I'm just like, I'm kind of tired or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? I love them. I love spending time with them. I feel like my cup is just like overflowing when I spend time with all of you guys.
But I also think it's kind of like you meet them where they're at. So like, I'm not having a great week. I'm not having a good time right now. Well, that's fine. Like, I'm just going to sit here in the midst of my friends and just like be sad or like be not all right. I think that's cool too. That's another point. Be authentic with the people that you're around. And if you can't be authentic with them, they're probably not the people that you need to be around. Because I've also been in a lot of friend groups also where I'm kind of on the fringe. But I think I'm on the fringe because I'm not being my authentic self. And no one can keep that up for a long period of time. That you can't put on that mask every single time and just pretend to be something. So I think that our friend group, everyone is genuinely who they are. I think back to a lot of trips, Columbine is a little bit more introverted. And sometimes she'll just be like, hey guys, like I'm just gonna go like chill out for a little bit, take a nap, just do what I need to do. And she can. And everyone's just like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Like no big deal. No one feels left out. No one feels like, FOMO or like I feel like she wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, you guys are all going to go do this like super fun thing without me and nothing like that. So that is, I feel like friendship in your adulthood. You can just be who you want to be and you're accepted for that. And you get to have these like incredible people in your life. Yeah, because at this age, 30 years old, Kyra just turned 30. Happy birthday, Kyra. I don't have time to be spending, like, I think the older I get, the more I realize I don't have time to be around people that I don't want to be around. 100%. Like the people that drain me. And it's just not, I'd rather be alone than with someone that's exhausting, and that's not the case. Exactly, at all. And so you just kind of realize who's important in your life and what is important, and that is what I found like in this group. If you're someone who you're like, okay, I want that, I don't have it, don't give up, because I found our girl group just a few years ago. So I just want to like give people encouragement and also say, hey, if you're in high school or middle school, you're going to go through a lot of life changes. A lot. It gets better. I seriously think 30 is great. It's an incredible age. Genuinely. 30 was terrible. 31 is great. It's great. But that's me. 30s are great. Well, let's see how this next year goes. You're going to go through so many life changes, and don't sweat it if you're like, okay, I haven't found that group of people who are like my people. And if you have, cool, great. Hang on to them and be open to letting other people join and experience that. Yeah. We really wanted to talk about friendship, and we wanted to shelaborate on it a little bit. Thank you for joining us on our first shelaboration. Shelaborating about friendship and the girl gang and being for the girls. We'll post a little picture of our tattoo. If you want to get it, I'll put it on the website. Do it. And if you know anyone who would be a really good guest on Shelaborate, hit us up and we will do our best to interview them. And until then, you're going to have me and Kathleen shelaborating. Thanks for joining us on our first episode of Shelaborate. Can't wait to bring you more. Don't forget to follow, like, and drop us a review.
Our episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Patreon.
If you liked the show, post it on your social media and pass it along. Women supporting women is the whole point.
We'll be back next week with more opinions, more stories, and more Shelaboration.
Until then, I'm Kat.
And I'm Tyra. This podcast is for the girls.